All right, let's get right into it. We need to talk about a really serious problem that, honestly, still happens way too often in the workplace: quid pro quo harassment. You'd think we'd be past this by now, but this abuse of power is still very much a thing. Yeah, just imagine that for a second. That's not some scene from a bad TV show. It's a real, manipulative, and totally illegal situation that people face every day. And there's a specific legal term for it. That term is quid pro quo. It's Latin, and it literally translates to this for that. And that phrase, this for that, really gets to the absolute heart of this dangerous type of harassment. So let's break down exactly what that means. At its core, quid pro quo harassment is a corrupt bargain. It's when someone with power uses that power, their authority, to demand sexual favors. And they tie it directly to your job, your promotion, your paycheck. This has nothing to do with dating or attraction. It's pure exploitation. Okay, so here's what makes it what it is, legally speaking. First, there has to be a power imbalance. Think a boss and their employee. This isn't between two coworkers at the same level. Second, it has to be connected to an actual job decision, like getting a raise or maybe not getting fired. And here's the kicker, and this is so important: it only has to happen once. Just one explicit offer or threat is enough to break the law. Now, this is where people can get confused, so let's make it super clear. A hostile work environment is about the overall vibe, an offensive, intimidating atmosphere that can be created by anyone, and it's usually a pattern of bad behavior. Quid pro quo is different. It's that direct, one-on-one abuse of power from a superior. It's that explicit this for that trade. So we know what it is. But that brings up a huge question. How common is this, really? I mean, does this actually happen a lot? Well, the answers are pretty shocking, and they show why we call this a hidden epidemic. You know, you really hope this kind of thing is rare, something that almost never happens. But the data, well, it tells a very, very different story. 1 in 10. Let that sink in. A major study out of New York found that about 1 out of every 10 employees had been subjected to this. To put that in perspective, that's around 1.7 million workers in that state alone. This is not some rare fringe issue. It's widespread. And when you look at the breakdown, yes, women do experience it at a higher rate. But look at the numbers for men, almost 10%. This is so crucial because it shows us this is not a women's issue. It is a power issue, and it can affect absolutely anyone. So, why do we call it a hidden epidemic? This number, 75%. The EEOC estimates that for every 4 incidents of harassment, 3 of them are never, ever reported. People are terrified of retaliation, of not being believed, of their careers being ruined. That silence is just deafening. And that silence has a cost, a huge one. The damage from this kind of harassment is like a poison that spreads way beyond the person being targeted. It damages the entire organization. I mean, think about it. When this stuff is allowed to happen, trust just evaporates. Morale hits rock bottom. Your best employees, they're going to leave. Productivity takes a nosedive, and a company's reputation can be scarred for good. It creates a toxic culture where nobody feels safe. And hey, if the cultural cost isn't convincing enough, just look at the financial one. This is just the average cost for a company to defend itself in a lawsuit. That's even if they win. That doesn't include any potential settlement or payout. The financial risk of turning a blind eye is absolutely enormous. Okay, so the problem is clear, it's common, and it's incredibly costly. But, and this is the most important part, it is not inevitable. Harassment is preventable. There's a clear blueprint for how to build a workplace where this doesn't happen. And look, this solution isn't some big secret. It starts with having crystal clear zero-tolerance policies. Then you have to actually train people and do it regularly. But policies are just words on paper without safe ways for people to report problems and real, actual accountability. That means no one gets a pass. All of these things work together to build a culture where people feel safe enough to speak up. But honestly, none of that other stuff matters without this: leadership commitment. The tone from the top is everything. If the executives aren't actively championing this, living it, and modeling it, the whole system will fail. It can't just be an HR rule. It has to be a core value of the company. At the end of the day, this is what it all comes down to. This simple, powerful idea. Preventing harassment isn't just about avoiding lawsuits. It's about protecting basic human dignity. It's about building a place where people are judged on their work and nothing else. The only question left is, does your workplace truly live up to that principle? And what happens tomorrow if it doesn't?